I'm sitting in the television studio on the Air campus, which is one of the main teaching tools that we have in the broadcast production degree. This is the last year that we'll use this actual space before we move to the new campus, but a lot of the equipment that you see will come with us as part of the move. The studio floor maybe looks quite small, but it's about the size of the studio that STV might use to make The Hour and all their news programmes. So it's quite a nice size, flexible space. 3 cameras. Behind me you can probably see the TriCaster, which is a computerised version of the studio, which we've recently replaced a lot of our old equipment with this one computerised box, which is a really flexible and really useful piece of equipment. It has a simple mixing desk which will just allow the students to cut between the 3 cameras and to produce a program and a program output. It has a graphic input. They can use a set of pre-programmed graphics or construct their own graphics to create a program look and a program feel. It also allows the students to input VT packages and pre-recorded material to play into studio programs that they might be making here. It also has a fantastic facility to create virtual studios so that they can make it look as if they're operating in a vast news studio or a review studio. It's a very flexible, usable piece of equipment. It's a great teaching tool. Okay. I just wanted to take this opportunity to show you the huge vastness of the studio here on the Air campus at UWS, and a lovely backdrop of the campus lake with the principal's yacht in shot there. Actually, all an illusion, but just one of the many virtual studios that this TriCaster studio allows us to create. So this Production Space 1, which has 10 iMac computers and 1 Tutor Mac, they're all loaded up with Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Express, and they also have any number of ways of getting material to get it digitised and into the computer. Each of the computers in the Production Space 1 has its own dedicated tape playing machine, which is quite rare, so that means that students aren't waiting around for other people to maybe use the tape playing machines and to input their material. And any number of other ways of getting material into those computers. It's a great facility. Also has a really useful thing which just has the Tutor Mac at the front of the Production Space 1 so that the tutor can show students their way through the various software packages. There are any number of other computing labs that operate Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Express, Pro Tools and other editing software that are freely available to the students. Whenever the university is open, they can go in and use those facilities. Even actually if someone is teaching in those classes, if there's a spare computer, they can go and use that as long as the lecturer is happy for them to do that. The ICT store has something like 15 DV cameras that can be taken out once booked, and as long as we're happy that the student knows that they know how to use them. Tripods, sound kits, all kinds of equipment useful for making short films. The plan of the broadcast production course, or the practical elements of the broadcast production course, is that once they've completed 3, hopefully 4 years with us, they will be able to use all the radio equipment and all the television equipment. So they will be able to go straight into the industry and be useful straight away. They'll know how to self-shoot, they'll know how to self-edit, they'll know how to write, they'll know how to record, they'll be ready to go immediately. For example, studio production is a module that we're now hoping to teach in 2nd year. They get a small test during that module, which means that they're allowed to use the studio without staff supervision. That means that they can come in their own time and use the studio. We're happy that they're competent and they're using the studio safely, and that gives them 2.5 years of developing their studio skills after we've taught them the very basics. Much of the equipment that we've got in the studio now is pretty brand new equipment, and we'll be taking that with us to the new campus. But some of it is very old. We have some might say classic, but let's face it, antiquated lighting rig that's going to be replaced by state-of-the-art equipment. By the time we get to the new campus, which is only just over a year away, and the time we start using the new studio, it's going to be very exciting. We'll have a pretty impressive facility there.
We have 4 radio studios here at the moment. We're just at the end of a semester, so 4 radio studios, all of which are analogue at the moment, Soundcraft desks, and similar equipment in every studio. We have mini disc input, we have tape input, which we really don't use very much anymore, CD input, and input from digital media, hard drive or a memory stick, or with a recorder as well here. So 3 of the studios are separate control rooms and studio proper, where the performers could be, and one of the studios is a self-op studio, and I'll talk more about that in a minute because that's the home of UCA Radio. We have, as I say, analogue equipment at the moment. We have a tender out. We just completed a tendering process actually to renew 2 of the studios, and 2 of them will be renewed as digital studios with equipment from Clyde Broadcast by end of July, beginning of August. So they'll be up and running as digital studios from September of this year. We also have a capital application into the university to provide 2 other digital studios, and that would be timed to coincide with entry to the new building. So by the time that we arrive at the new building, we'll have 4 new digital radio studios. And we'll also have a nice a live lounge overlooked by 2 of the studios, and we'll have a green room. So there'll be a very nice radio suite there. At the moment, the studios are dispersed around the campus, and that's just the geography of our acquisitions. The 4th studio that we have here at the moment is UCA Radio, and that's a fully operational 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year radio station. It broadcasts on 87.7 FM under a long-term low-power FM licence, but it's unique in the UK. We have our own DAB channel here, and we broadcast continuously on the Air multiplex. So we go out along with BBC 2, Radio 1, West Sound, and so on. Now, the way in which the equipment relates to the courses is that in first year, all the broadcast production students would do a compulsory module called Introduction to Radio, which is really an introduction to sound, but it's focused largely on radio. And they would have an introduction to portable equipment, but they would make some use of the studio. In second year, again in broadcast production, there's a core module which is called Radio Practice, and that's a studio-based module, and it's based around UCA Radio. So the students on that module have to do a radio show every week for 8 weeks at a regular time, as though they were on a commercial radio station, and they broadcast a show. And it's very often a mixture of music and chat. In third year, students can choose to do 2 modules in radio, as a specialism, if you like. Some will choose to focus more on television, but some will choose radio. And in that case, then they're doing a range of different types of radio. It's genre-based. So we'll do packages, we'll do music radio, we'll do talk radio, magazines if you like. We'll do advertising campaign. And the advertising campaign is done to a brief provided by the Health Board. So they're using portable equipment, and they're using studios as appropriate over the whole of third year. In fourth year, broadcast production students all do a creative project. Now, the natural thing would be if you had studied radio in third year, you would do a radio-based or an audio-based creative project. And if you'd done television, similarly, you would tend to do a television-based project. For those who are doing creative project in radio, we study drama, we study comedy, and then students really have a free choice of what they do for their finished piece, their creative piece. But most of it would tend to be drama. Comedy is quite difficult to do and requires someone who really is that way inclined. But most of them will create an original drama, so they'll script it, they'll design it for radio, and then they'll record it, and that becomes the basis of their finished piece. The radio studios and the radio facilities, including the portable equipment, are used on some of the other courses as well. So students who may perhaps take radio practice in second year as an option, and a lot of the performance students do that, clearly they're using the same studios and the same equipment. If we come back to UCA Radio, it's worth just saying that particularly when the students are not here, but actually throughout the year, some of the output is provided by community presenters and other groups who come in and present programmes. So at the moment we've got a group who are coming in to give us breakfast programmes right throughout the summer. We have some other established community presenters who provide output during the day and in the evenings. We also, through UCA Radio, we also provide programme output to other stations, and at the moment I think we've got 13 stations which are on at the moment. They're either RSLs or community stations, and they're taking one of our programmes, and we have another 13 who come and go. They're RSLs, so they're on for a month at a time. So we've had 26 stations altogether taking output from UCA radio generated here at the Ayr campus.